So yeah, that's the first chapter. It's a long one. And yeah, now we're going to do
giveaways.
Oh no, Q&A. So does anybody have any questions for me about the book? Anything at all? Yes, Josh?
How long did it take you to write it?
How long did it take me to write? It took me a year to write it, and a majority of that was actually 2 weeks. Yeah, actually, majority I wrote in 2 weeks. Yeah?
How long did you know you wanted to write a book like this?
For a very long time.
Do you want to repeat the question?
Yeah, so how long did I know I wanted to write a book like this? I've always been a storyteller. I've always been passionate about writing. I wrote a couple of books before. I never published them since high school. But this idea came into my mind. The first chapter is just like a peek in, but it gets more into depth into the world of beasts. And I wanted to write something because it does have a very, big vegan message in a way. I kind of paint this whole world of, I was answering this question, what would it look like 1,000 years from now if we keep going the way we're going? With, the leaders we have today, with people, with climate change, with global warming, with, nuclear war on the rise, what would it look like 1,000 years from now? And so this is kind of my answer to that question. Any other questions? Yeah.
Like the game they were talking about.
Yeah.
Did you see it first, or how did you?
The game. Okay, so the game they were talking about. How did I think of it? Yeah, I saw it first, and I game a little bit myself, and I was thinking, what would be a fun game that doesn't exist? And I thought, well, in the future, if you have these telegraphics, if you have this biotechnology, what could you create that would be fun, but also fit in this, utopian, so-called utopian society where everybody is, loving and accepting and everything? What would that look like? Would there be competition? Would there not? And I thought probably like a little bit, just to satisfy people enough. Any other questions?
Why did you?
Were there any other types of science fiction stories that you had read that kind of inspired you?
Science fiction stories that I read? I have a lot of different stories that inspire me. I would say science fiction-wise, I like Isaac Asimov, so I like him a lot. And I would say for other stories that inspired me, I would say Handmaid's Tale inspired me. Again, as I said, this is the beginning of the book, so you guys have no idea what you're in for. But yeah, so it's, things like that. Also other dystopian novels that are out there. It has a lot of, it has some really tough scenes in there of things that happen. And then it has some really good stuff, it goes in a flow. So, I don't think there's anything I could compare it to. Being a writer, you're an artist, I feel like, and it just kind of comes through you as a storyteller. You can't really direct the story. I tried, I wrote down like an entire thing, and it only went different than I thought it would, so. But yeah, the characters, you have to think in the mind of the character, and once you're thinking in that mind, then you just write it out. At least that's my experience, yeah.
In only 5 words, how would you describe the book?
In only 5 words? Good. 10. You're making it bigger now. I would say it's a sci-fi dystopian novel that will make you think. And it will make you feel like a champion in your own world. Yeah. It's a hero story. It has a hero's arc. So, like hero's journey. So, yeah. Anybody else? Yeah, Don?
What do you hope people will take away after reading your book?
Well, I hope people realize that we can do something right now. We don't have to wait 1,000 years from now to do something. So I'm kind of hoping people read it and think about how they can do something right now to change the world, because I think every single one of us has the power to do so. And I think if we feel empowered to do so, then we can do it, all of us together. And I hope my book empowers people to do that. Anybody else? We're good? Okay. Yeah, sorry, Maria. Yeah. One other question. Also, there are going to be prizes, so get your questions out now to know the answers to anything.
Yeah, you just said about this coming through you. I've heard that the artists sometimes even read and they say, "Wow, did I write this?"
Mhm.
How does it feel for you when you're?
To write? It feels like, I don't know, it's surreal. It feels like I'm telling a very unique story and it's fun, and I hope it connects with people in different ways, and it's kind of fun to see how it connects with people in their lives, because it connects with them totally different than how I connected with the story. So I kind of get excited to think about what other people's thoughts are going to be, what their reactions are going to be. Yeah. Yes?
Yeah, so you talked about your vegan message and the way you want to change the way we live, and so is there only the running reason is about environment and the way we treat animals, or do you want people also who are not vegan to be aware that they can be more healthy, they can eat, I don't know, more plants, but whatever they think is plant is just salad for some people. I don't know if there are other messages, but just environment and.
Yeah, so I have very many progressive messages in this book. It's a very progressive book in many different ways. My main character is queer, so that's different, and I'm promoting it as a mainstream dystopian novel, which is different too, because there's not many mainstream dystopian novels that have a queer main character. There's also a lot of talk, yes, about the environment and how we need to change that, and yes, like definitely there's a vegan theme to it. But there's also love. There's also, about how we, there's some good things in the World Collective that I wish we could, relate to each other better. It's kind of how I came up with telegraphics and intentions. I almost wish we could, know other people's thoughts and feelings, because I think that a lot of times we misspeak or misunderstand, and that creates a lot of problems. There's also, there's also a lot of strong women in my book. And I have a lot of interracial characters. I think I only have 3 white characters in the entire novel. Even the main character is not white, so. Yeah. Any other questions? No? We're good? Okay, so I think now, are you gonna do the games? It's on him.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Cool, now John's gonna do games. Thank you, guys.
I guess. What? Yeah.